there, Virgo. Welcome to a life path reading for the rest of 2023. So that's from September through December. It occurred to me that we're in the last quarter of the year, and it would be interesting to do a different type of tarot reading. So this is going to be a different spread than I normally use. I'll explain the positions after I lay out the cards. Wow, I didn't expect this kind of spread for Virgo thus far. Just want you to see those bottom cards. Okay. All right. Well, I would say just very, quickly that some of you may have experienced relationship turmoil. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, when I think astrologically, because I'm primarily an astrologer, and so whenever I do a tarot reading, I'm always talking about astrological transits to kind of back up my observations, because Virgo by itself isn't really going through anything transit wise, but your opposite sign is, and that means that the opposite house, the seventh house of relationships, can certainly be affected. And the two planets that are hanging out there for years at a time, Neptune and Saturn. Saturn just went into the sign of Pisces back in March. So, Neptune has been there for probably I think a dozen years or so. So, or 11 years. I can't remember. I think it might have been 2012 when it went in or something like that. So 11 or 12 years. Neptune in your seventh house can mean that at some point during that transit, which can be up to 15 years in your seventh house, but I'm saying up to because it depends on how big your seventh house is, but it can lead to committing to someone that turns out to be other than what you thought they were. So that deception that Neptune can be, it can also bring your soulmate, so I don't want to just make it something negative. As far as Saturn, I've read before that when Saturn goes into your seventh house, if you have a relationship already and it's shaky, it can, it can be the final blow, because it's just like Saturn doesn't want anything that isn't viable. So it kind of gets rid of things that are dead weight, excess. So I could see either one of those scenarios being true for you, if this even is about that. But anyway, I do see some cards here that suggest that you have maybe been through some kind of disappointing situation where you put your faith in somebody else and they didn't live up to it. So what else is new, right? I mean, that happens in life, but when I see those top cards, but I'll get to those in a minute. I want to talk about the three cards in the middle, because these cards are connected to where you're at right now. So the top three are where you've been in 2023, maybe the lessons that you've learned, and then the final three cards are for the rest of this year. So the first card is the Ten of Swords. This is a card of somebody being betrayed. Or is it, I'm sorry, I said Ten of Swords. I mean Five of Swords. I was looking at that. I was thinking of that other card. The Five of Swords can indicate that you may have people in your life at the moment that are not really supportive of you. And sometimes I was saying in a previous video to someone that I consider the Five of Swords sometimes to be flying monkeys, if you know that term, from talking about narcissistic abuse. If you have dealt with someone who is a narcissist, is a full-blown narcissist, they can have people around them. I mean, this could be family members. This could be like the circle of friends. If it's at work and the boss is the narcissist, the co-workers who are like little spies reporting back to the narcissist what you're doing, because the narcissist wants that control. Even when they break up with you, they still want to know what you're up to, because they probably want to think, oh, that person can't live without me and all this. And so this could be going on right now, where maybe you have gotten rid of, I mean, you've distanced yourself from somebody who's very destructive in your life, or they have left your life on their own recognizance, but they are, well, no, that's not a right word. They have left, let's just put it that way. And you realize that you're better off without them, but you still have these other people that you have to deal with. So it's like going no contact with a close family member, for instance. That may be possible, and somebody may be able to do that, but there are other people in the family. You know what I mean? And that can be where the opening lies. So you have to realize that you might be dealing with people that are not really trustworthy, and only you can discern that. And a Virgo person is perfectly capable of discerning things, because you tend to be intelligent and you tend to analyze and you pick up on little details. You see those little things that can lead you to understand that, but you still may have a side of you that is naive, or that wants to believe that something is true. So it's really up to you to see things as they are. And we have here the Eight of Cups. This is leaving behind what no longer resonates with you, serves you, feels that you feel passionate about. If you're empty about something, and this could be like a job. So for instance, you could be like really in the process of leaving a job, but you have these people around you, and you have to decide, do I trust these people with my plans? And that's, I don't tell people what to do, but I think that it's very foolish to do that, because some people just don't have good intentions, and you will never know that directly until you find out the hard way that that's happening, and you're like, oh wow, that person, I guess, didn't want to support me. Why is that? Well, a lot of times when someone else has these grander visions, other people are very threatened by that, because they know in their heart of hearts that they should be changing their lives, and they, for whatever reason, they don't. And they tend to gravitate towards people who are like them, and anyone who kind of challenges that becomes, public enemy number one in a certain way, even though to your face they may say something different. And I don't like to say things like that, like to make people paranoid. I'm not saying that would be true 100% of the time, but just to be aware of that. Also, there may be, if you are dealing with someone who is a narcissist or is a problem personality, the Eight of Cups could be like you're finally dissatisfied with this relationship to the point where you can't justify it anymore. And and this could even be, the Eight of Cups can be a spiritual quest, and you're just kind of walking away from that. But the Five of Swords can, be other people talking about that decision. Are you okay with that? Can you handle other people talking about you and maybe even judging you for it? And we have the Knight of Cups. In some cases, you may be walking towards another person. The Knight of Cups can be the knight in shining armor, but of course, you have to be careful that you're not jumping from the frying pan into the fire. So that person, if there's someone else who has come into your life, the question would be, is this person really who they claim to be? You know, I was just thinking astrologically, and Pluto has gone back into Capricorn. So that is your fifth house. That is your house of, love. And Pluto going back there can be kind of like revisiting this issue of the transformative power of love. However, this is on an internal level. And also, so in other words, you're like looking at your own piece in this. And in some cases, it may open you up to love, because maybe that's what the Eight of Cups represents, is that you're like, no, I can't be in this marriage any longer because I just don't have that feeling for that individual. And I'm just sitting here feeling like my emotions are drying up, and I'm stuck, and I don't feel good about the situation. So in some cases, it may be because you're creating an open space for that to occur, for the Knight of Cups to occur. But yes, it is possible. I'm recording this. What's today? Oh my gosh. Actually, it's funny. I'm recording this on the 3rd of September. I can't believe it's already the 3rd. And that's when Venus goes direct. So what if if you're listening to this, you're going to be listening either on that date or afterwards. So you're going to be when Venus is direct, but when Venus was retrograding, you may have heard back from someone. And in some cases, that could be the person that you were meant to be with, that you reconnected with. And you realize that, at the time that you had originally been with that person, you were not yet ready for that level of relationship. So maybe you just kind of have been hit or miss since then, and now you are ready for that level of commitment. So the 3 cards that are in the past position, which also kind of reflects upon what maybe has happened this year, we have the 10 of Swords, so that card of betrayal, that card of feeling as though, you were let down by somebody, what do you call it, like, betrayed you in terms of a confidence and told somebody something that you assumed they were going to keep to themselves. And these kinds of events can be very disheartening because it can make a person feel like nobody can be trusted. But it also, as a lesson, can show you that you can come back from these situations. They're just in that moment. And the less power that you give it, the less emphasis you give it, the more you can tolerate it, because you know that it's not permanent, it doesn't define you, and you can make peace with what has happened. Knight of Swords, especially with a certain individual, there may have been this tendency to get hung up on someone who really maybe is in the process of finding themselves, is kind of running from themselves. Maybe they are still emotionally immature. They're not ready for commitment, and you just really, like them, we're in love with them, we're attracted to them, and maybe they even played mind games with you, and you fell for it. We have to be able to see these manipulations ourselves And sometimes people don't want to see certain things, so that's why they don't see them. But if you're ready, if you really want a committed relationship, you have to go to where they exist. And it's very possible in some cases that the person said, I don't want to settle down yet. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have a family. I don't want any of that stuff right now. And some people think that they can change that individual's mind. That's, to me, that's never a good, way to go into a relationship, thinking that you're going to change somebody's mind. You have to accept people as they are in the moment. It's possible that such a person will eventually commit. Maybe their higher self, knows exactly who they want to be with, and on the conscious level, they just don't know that. And so that's why they're so non-committal. And the Tower card. The Tower card, if you had any experience, there were eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio, and those areas for you, like for instance, Scorpio is your third house, and Taurus is your ninth house. Virgo, where you may have experienced some upheaval. And really, the truth of the matter is that if you don't take care of something, that eventually you have to, face it. So this also applies to one's thoughts, especially the third house, which Scorpio is for you. That might have been an instant download, if you will. It's because we had an eclipse here, a lunar eclipse in May, and that may have been a time when you really were given some insight into some of maybe the ways that you think, things that you have said, and how perhaps they were misleading, or even that you have thought, the way that your mind works and how that works against you. That might have been, very instructional, instructive, informational, informative. So I have 3 outcome cards for you to talk about this next period of the next few months. I have no doubt that it's going to go very quickly, because I can't believe we're already in September. I say it and I don't really feel it. I'll feel it when we have that first really cool day that you have to wear a light jacket. We've had one of those days where it felt cool, but that's when you kind of like like today it's 90, so it's easy to be in denial, even though it's already September. So the first card is the Queen of Pentacles. This is perfect for a Virgo because it has to do with, the earth element being pentacles. So for the rest of this year, if you have had like relationship drama, or in it, by the way, when I say relationship, it's just like a one-on-one situation. So it could very well have been with a friend, maybe a friend that, you really thought you bonded with them, and maybe they're jealous of you, envious of you. If they were gossiping or, being two-faced, the Queen of Pentacles, to me, the word I got was hermit, which actually in the major arcana, there's the Hermit card that is connected to Virgo. But I was thinking in terms of the home aspect of this card, because the Queen of Pentacles, this is like the water and the earth elements converging, which are both nourishing and part of the earth, part of the material world. So about grounding, but also with the Queen, there is that sense of being in control of your environment, I would say, where you are enjoying the fruits of your labor. It can be very, the next few months for you might be very fruitful. That's another word that just came to my mind. And you are going to have a solar eclipse, the first one in Libra for this cycle. Solar eclipse is a powerful new moon, and it's happening in your second house of earned income. So that's Taurus's domain. It's an earth house. So that might be speaking of that time, which you might even feel in September, but is happening on October 14th. The Lover's card definitely could be a card of, becoming intimate or whatever you want to call it with someone, taking it to a serious level with that person, an intimate level. Yes, they have their clothes off, so, we think of the physical connection, but it can be emotionally. Sorry, I had to pause because there was some kind of noise in the background, but what I was saying is the Lover's card can also be a choice. So if, for instance, it's right below the Eight of Cups, if you feel called, if maybe you're having like a spiritual awakening, and your relationship all of a sudden seems like it's totally in the past, even though you're currently with that person, that might be something that is a choice you're going to make by the time 2023 is over with. And then we have the Nine of Wands. This is a card of boundaries. So that might be another thing where you're kind of like, hey, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to learn how to say no more, and say it like very assuredly, but also very kindly. I'm not going to get upset if somebody tries to ask me to do something, because if I get upset, that means that I feel guilty. I feel like, how dare they, try to force me to reject them. And that's disempowering. I'm happy to be able to say no, because I know that I'm not doing anything wrong, and that it's not my responsibility to bail people out all the time. Maybe that's something that you have done in the past. But also in terms of like getting close to someone, if you know that you have boundaries that you're going to be very clear about, there won't be anything for somebody to test, because they know what the outcome is going to be. So maybe in the past, people thought they could get away with certain things, and now they know that they can't. There's a saying, you teach people how to treat you. And that goes both ways. The person who can't say no, who's afraid to say no, is teaching people that they are completely at the mercy of other people and their wishes, that they never take care of their own needs. Like, even if they're tired, even if it's going to be stressful to have to fit everything in. So this is you growing stronger, growing more of a backbone. And there may be some personal reasons why this is a necessity, because with the Queen of Pentacles, like, let's say you're in the process of getting divorced, you might be like, I'm not letting my ex try and use other people, like the Five of Swords, which is right above it, to get a handle on what I'm doing. It's none of his business. It's none of her business what I'm doing, because we're not together anymore. And so those flying monkeys, or just even innocent bystanders who are just trying to, who don't realize why this person is like peppering them with questions, you can be very clear about what you want from others. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Virgo. Since I'm recording this at the beginning of September, happy birthday to you guys who listen in September. Well, I don't care if you listen in November. Happy birthday to all of you. That will be belated birthday, obviously. And if you would like a private reading, I have all kinds of, I have natal chart analysis and transits, which especially around the time of your birthday might be something that you find really interesting to see what kind of astrological trends are happening for you in the next 12 months. And I have package deals. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for watching. Bye.